he was somehow familiar. He was also, as I say in French, a little bit cabotin. He misused his fantastic talent and intelligence to create an aura around him. He was a thinker, but he didn't really want to be serious. He was elegant physically. He was. He gave the impression of a happy body, indeed, of a happy body. He was elegantly clothed, simple clothing, but always. And he had a charming way of moving, and so indeed you had the impression that somebody well in his skin, as the French say, bien dans sa peau. I met this strange Elizabeth here, and she grabbed me at some point and grabbed me to Bremen, and then there was a big table there, and I was sitting next to Ivan Illich.
Really?
I thought it cannot be. I'm next to Ivan Illich, and Ivan Illich is interested in me. This world famous person asks me what I'm doing and so on. Unbelievable.
You could feel the genuine interest in the question, right? It's not just small talk. It's really someone.
Absolutely, absolutely. He really saw people. He was interested in them, and it's very interesting. There was really an atmosphere. I mean, he was practicing what he was preaching: conviviality, real experience. There was an atmosphere of. You understood immediately what he meant with that word. That's it. That we perceive each other. That is conviviality. That we just see each other. Okay. That we stop passing each other in indifference. Okay, perceive each other. Be glad that there is somebody there without wanting to use each other automatically. Okay, just see each other. That is conviviality. It is not more complicated than that. Not to live next to each other, but with each other. It sounds so stupidly simple. But you need a fellow like Ivan to experience it. Okay, because he spent his whole life practicing that. He did not run after a career, which is not a little thing.
No, it's not
in our words, because the professionals had a hard time taking him seriously, and they warned their students all the time. Okay, be careful. That is not serious. That's not a professional, which is wrong. Okay? He was busy day and night with conviviality, and he was not an expert of conviviality. He did not produce a big theory of conviviality in 15 volumes, okay, exhausting the subject, okay, with the 500 scientific references, okay, with psychology and sociology, and he just showed how to do it. I think Ivan was a wild thinker in Levi-Strauss sense. Exactly in that sense, and with that text, that very important text of Levi-Strauss gave a positive value to that word. It's very interesting. Do you know that the text?
Please.
Oh, as Brazilian, you must know it.
Exactly.
Because he learned it in Brazil.
He learned it in Brazil.
In the sad tropics. Okay. His first book about Brazil is a depressive book. He said he was shocked by what he saw there, colonialism, the horror of colonialism, the brutality, and this is, there's no word for that. But later he became a bit more relaxed, let's say. He was too young. But late, and he has a very important text called Wide Thinking, where he explains that what he perceived there among the Yanomami, or one of those nations there, he explained, I have been looking for what they are doing. We civilized Europeans, okay, for us it is obvious that we think. They do not think, they just live, okay, they are natural, okay, natural people, okay, wild people, wildlife. It's not true. They think, but they think differently from us. We think in a and he explains that I think that's a fundamental text for art also. In fact, he says, what is wide thinking? The wide thinker operates like the man in the house who fixes the lamps and so on. He does not use professional tools. He just takes a knife from the kitchen, okay, to a screwdriver. That is the wide thinker. He's a tinker. I think there's an English word, right? Yes. Tinker, right? Yes. The wide tinker, yeah. Bricoleur. Bricoleur in French, bricolage. By the way, collage, that's a discovery of my papa, is bricolage. Okay? Collage is a wide thinking in art. Okay? Collage, as it started, Braque and so on, it just takes a newspaper clip and make a wonderful a piece of art of it. Okay? He just uses the means which are lying around.
Yeah, lying around. At hand.
What?
At hand.
At hand, yeah. He does not go to a professional shop to buy colors and professional material. He just uses anything which is at hand. Colors, okay, from the kitchen, plunders, paprika from the okay.
From the garden.
That is wide thinking. The wide thinker does not use professional concepts, technical concepts. The wide thinker thinks in everyday words. Yeah. That was Ivan. That is the great of Ivan. Ivan produced great ideas without any technicality. Okay? He just took words which are there. Commons, for instance, was a big discovery of him. Commons was lying there. Right? Nobody used it. People had forgotten that it was there. Okay. And he just said, "Look! We have a word which is a key word for the future. Commons." Okay. That is wide thinking. That's one thing which we can learn from him. Okay. Study philosophy, study science, but come back to the vernacular. The Commons has become popular. Okay, it has. Okay, the big public got it. Okay, it's very important. It has been very quickly recuperated by business, as we know. Okay, they make now business out of it, out of the Commons. They professionalize it, which is an absurdity. That was the message of Ivan. Don't go professional, please. Go competent, but not professional. Okay. Right?
Two different things, competence and...
Two different things. Don't mix them, please. Don't believe what they tell you, right? That it's the same thing. No. You can become competent without becoming professional. and you can be professional without being competent.
Without being competent, yes. Okay. Which is the case of most.
Which is the rule, basically. Which is yeah. Today, it will be time to discover his other discovery, the vernacular, as a keyword, okay, as an absolute keyword, and understand that it's not a technical word from some historian or something. It is very relevant for us. Sunlight is a commons, and there's plenty of it. Okay. You cannot commercialize it. You can try, it doesn't work. That is the commons. The air, okay, which you breathe, is a commons. Very important to perceive this. You can try to put it in bottles, but then we all die. If you commercialize the air which we breathe, also the people who commercialize will die. Okay? So that's a commons. What I find very important, language is a commons. Language is a commons. Today, especially in the digital paradise, okay, it's very important because the digitalization makes out of it a commodity. Okay, you must pay lots of money to use a program called Word. Okay, that is a crime. That is a crime, and we know that the fellow who did that is the biggest gangster on the planet today. Okay, and the richest gangster, right? Because he commercialized the most important commons which we humans have, the word. That expression "smartphone" is a crime. It is a dumb phone.
It's a dumb.
Okay, but everybody calls it smart because smart is good. It's a lie. It is horrible. Ivan would denounce that, I think, the expression smart. He would denounce the smart world, okay, which arose soon after he died. Okay. The smart world was an invention of the 2010s. Okay. And then it came the smart world, and everybody is contaminated. Everybody. Okay. It's a horror. Ivan would analyze that, but in simple terms. Okay, he would not go to technical psychology and so on. Okay, he would just describe it in simple, and somebody has to do that today. Okay, so it would be a long answer and to a short question. Sorry. What is the relevance of Ivan for today's generation? Let's say it's very interesting. It's good to know. For instance, there would be no bike lanes in front of my house without Ivan. Today it is so obvious. Last week I was in Paris. It's true. People told me that there are bike lanes on Boulevard Saint-Michel. It's true, both way, like in front of my house. Both way bike lanes, and the cars have only one lane. In my youth, it was unthinkable. That was Ivan. Car sharing was an obvious idea. Today, it is evident. What the young generation has to do is continue his thinking. Continue his thinking. For instance, the virus was one example. Okay, when people who had understood Ivan and switched on their brain, okay, and the perceptive apparatus, and practice perceiving what is going on. Okay, that the whole thing is a bit strange here. Is a bit surprising. That was basically Ivan's message. Okay, that when you look at reality, believe your eyes, things very strange are happening. If you look at them, they're absurd things here. For instance, you see on Monday morning, you go to the street, you see lots of cars standing there, whooping, and in every car there's one person very angry and very stressed, and that is normality. That's what they call normality. Sitting in a car alone is unpleasant. You are solitary. You are locked in this cabin. You cannot speak with anybody. It is loneliness. You are unhappy. It's much better to have a lot of people with you. The same thing today. That problem has been solved. Thanks to people like Ivan, thanks to his analysis of car traffic. In fact, I've heard of Ivan in 1973, just after Conviviality was published.
That was the first time you heard
of. I was studying physics in Brussels. It was a nice moment, and I had a fellow student, a very sympathetic fellow, one of the best in our class, and very simple and very modest. A little fellow, and he came one day and he told me, you know what? There's a great fellow who just published an analysis of car traffic. It's genial. It's genial. We were studying Einstein and so on, big theories. Yes. So we liked people like that who bring great ideas in simple words. And he explained to me, he just proved that somebody with a car who owns a car has an average speed of 5.1 kilometers per hour. And we were used in working with numbers, 5.1. We understood the message immediately. Walking, average walking speed is 5 kilometers per hour. It is true that with a car you go faster, a little bit faster, but not much faster. Comma one faster. You had to be a student in physics, a brilliant one, to get the humor of the message. To get the whole point. It's great. It is elegant. It is pop art. It is Warhol. Make you see in one glance evidence. Which you usually never see. The emperor has no clothes on. That was Ivan. He was the little kid there. He was, hey, the emperor has no clothes on. Everybody, oh, it's true. That would be the best metaphor for Ivan, in a sense, no? And we need that today, because the thing repeats all the time. We are we live in the middle of evidences which we don't perceive. First, because evidences are not easy to perceive, and second, because we are not supposed to perceive them. Sure, he denounces the arrogance of modern technology. Yeah, they will solve everything. Yeah, he denounces that. Yeah, that is pride. That is arrogance. It is worse than pride even. It's brutal arrogance. Progress, holy progress. Which solves everything. That's what you mean. Yeah. Sure.
So main. the main thing.
Yes. Yeah. The interesting thing, he doesn't moralize. Okay, he doesn't slide into moral. He doesn't say, "Hey, you arrogant scientist," and so on. He just, yeah, yeah. That's his big talent. He's not like like the priest in the church on Sunday. You sinners, okay? You sinners. He says, we sinners. I summarize his criticism saying, when I walk, I discover that I have feet. Wonderful. Use cars. But when you walk, you discover that you have feet, which you cannot discover if you step in a car. Okay?
So it's like it's pleasant to discuss. It's not.
Absolutely.
It's not a judgment of.
Exactly. Actually, there's an elegant twist always in his criticism. Yeah.
And he knew as well.
Yeah. That's an art. That's a great art. Yeah. The vernacular, as Ivan updated it, okay, because as he explains in one of his texts beautifully, right, the vernacular among the Romans, that was the household, okay? The world of the household, okay? The pigs and the husband and the wife and the children. That's where we live, where we spend our common life, okay? Different from where we go to the Senate, okay? When we go to work, as we say today. That is not the vernacular. The vernacular is where we go, where we live. Our Christian tradition, and that is Ivan, okay, that is the world, the natural environment in which we human beings live is language, is the word, okay. There is no human life without speaking. That is what moves the world, as my father once said. That is what moves the world, in fact, not the written word. Only conversations between people who trust. Everything which happens through conversations between people who trust each other. Be they gangsters, okay, or thinkers. Yeah. We know that. We know that. It's elementary. Watson. For a moment, let's leave Illich. Okay, let's not overwork him, the poor man. The one answer I get from Krishnamurti. By the way, Ivan met Krishnamurti. You know about that. There's a protocol of that, the proceedings of that, which is very interesting. I think the last book, Cayley's book, I think, there is a transcript of that meeting, which is very interesting, I find. We can speak about that later. Anyway, they asked a similar question to Krishnamurti in Switzerland when there was there was a meeting there. Said, what do you say? All these wars, and they are getting worse and worse, and the brutality and the world is going towards a nuclear war and so on. It's getting worse and worse. What do you say to that? And he said, look, every epoch sees itself as special. So it is normal that we see our epoch as special. It is the worst of all history, or the best of all history. Okay, I found this is a very liberating answer.
It is indeed.
But of course, yeah, the world is going toward its end. So what? It is always going towards the end. It's nothing special. And then comes a miracle, and it doesn't end. Or there comes no miracle, and it does end. So what? It has always been like that, right? Yeah. Marxists then, like I would say, there's more to it than meets the eye. That is Orwell. Okay, then I call my holy Orwell. Okay, that was his team. Okay, the Big Brother creates crisis all the time, because that the people who are afraid are very easy to control. Okay, that's the method. So you propagate catastrophe, imminent catastrophe, and you exaggerate it limitlessly, and people are worried, and worried people are passive. Okay, worried people are paralyzed. Okay, paralyzed. That's what every politician loves. Okay, people who are passive, people who are happy, who are relaxed, who are free of every worry, who go on the streets and say we want to be happy, and that's it. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's dangerous.
all right.
Yeah.
That would be my answer from the perspective of somebody who has grown up under the atomic threat, which is to the unthinkable. I try to explain to my son, okay, that we grew up in the eternal fear of the bomb every moment. It was very present. He doesn't understand that. No, that is nonsense. Okay, you were crazy. You were crazy. We have no way of understanding how our grandparents felt under Hitler. Okay, they were stupid. Why did they not resist? Okay, you simply cannot understand that because you were not there. But there was a hysterical atmosphere which was created on purpose and methodically, and it worked. Okay, when you have enough experts who know how to manipulate the masses, then it works, and we have that today. There is room, but it's being occupied by in 2008. We made a small exhibition about May 68, and Ivan. Don't forget, Ivan is a children of May 68. Is a child of May 68. He actually continued thinking.
In that same way.
He developed the basic ideas of May 68 in many directions. Yeah, he belonged to that thing, to that movie. Let's say it was an art exhibition, and we made a small project. Our project was without moderator, and our idea was. This is a new phenomenon that every talk show has a moderator. This was not the case before. Okay. In my youth, there was not that. The moderator was introduced, in fact, soon after '68, and in fact, the term moderator was new. That's very interesting. It came from nuclear technology. Okay. You know what a moderator is in nuclear technology?
No, I don't.
When you have a nuclear plant, okay, you have a piece of uranium which is very active, and which threatens to explode spontaneously. So to avoid that it explodes, you put in a moderator, which is a piece of metal which you plunge into the uranium, and that stops the heating, the too much heating. Okay, that's a moderator. So when you want more heat, then you pull out that piece of metal a little bit. When you want less heat, then you push it again. That's what the moderator in a talk show does. The main point is to avoid every real discussion, every confrontation, every conflict. That is the role of the moderator, which means you can never get to the real issues. Okay, okay. So we must also understand that our public sphere is occupied by moderators, which excludes every real debate. Okay? That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the moderation.
And since at least two generations, that has become normality. Okay. So the public space is useless for serious debates. That's a fact. Sorry. Big Brother is caring for you, right? So we are back to the vernacular.
To the vernacular.
We must trust the vernacular. It is very important. Yeah.
No, but I think it is.
Thank you.
I think it's your writing, and it's you that picked up something that.
I did.
Okay,
I did.
you.
Yeah.
It was you who picked up the vernacular and said, "Hey, we have to look at this."
Yeah. Sure. No. Well, that I have from my sources. Okay. Ivan was born in 1924, 1925.
26, I think.
In 1926. My father was born 100 years ago in 24, and his philosophical source, he called it master, but we are not supposed to say the word master. That is authority and so on, which is a misunderstanding. But anyway,
Indeed.
Was born in 1902. So he was one generation before Ivan. Okay, and that was Budapest, and Ivan was born in Vienna. That's next door.
Next door, indeed.
Both were born in a world where Jewish mystical thinking was very present still. Okay, that's one of the reasons. Now I'm overdoing it. That's one of the reasons I would say now. It's reading for us why that world had to be destroyed at its roots, because Christianity has declared that mysticism is forbidden in every form. Okay, right? There are no Christian mystics anymore alive, right? There were in the old times, and fortunately we got rid of them. Okay, Meister Eckhart, okay, or and so on, and so on. To try to find a Christian mysticism today in the last 300 years, you won't find any. But the Jews still had, for instance, Hasidism. Okay, still had a very vital mystic movement. My father explains in one of his texts on art, by the way, on modern art, that the roots, the sources of Marx are Jewish mysticism, medieval mysticism, because there is no difference between Middle Ages, between Christian and Jewish mysticism. Anyway, when you say that to a Marxist, that the roots, the ultimate sources of Marx are medieval mysticism, in the best, if they are good friends, they laugh. Okay.
If they're good friends.
Yeah. If they're not friends, they become very unpleasant. Yeah. The logos made flesh, as we say among Christians. That's what my sources were emphasizing in their thinking. The modern world makes out of the word an instrument. And that's the root of all the trouble. What do you say? He kept estrangement. Okay. He kept his sense of surprise. Yeah. Yeah. Today, the hottest version of that is a smartphone. I repeat, when I sit in the subway, okay, and I don't think I'm clinically neurotic. I'm neurotic, but I don't think it's clinical. When somebody talks to his smartphone next to me, I stand up and I go somewhere else. Very simply, it produces in me a sensation of complete insanity. Complete insanity. A human person who speaks to a box, okay, and keeps speaking and speaks and forgets about you next to him. Okay, completely disconnected from everything around you, ignores me, which means destroys me completely. I mean, negates me, not destroys, ignores me, negates my existence. You are not supposed to do that. Okay, that is the contrary of conviviality. Conviviality is to perceive one another. When somebody with a smartphone steps out of conviviality in the most brutal way, that is very dangerous. Okay, that is what produces a dangerous world. Okay, that's how world wars are produced. Okay, you produce a population which is completely disconnected from reality around it, and then you can do with them what you want. Okay? The world is always full of tensions. Will always be in it only changes. It's different tensions, but the tension is always there. A toothache is eternal. A toothache. Okay. The toothache, right? And when it's cold, it's too cold. When it's hot, it's too hot. That's okay. There's always stress. But the phenomenon today, I would say, if you love, is that people talk less and less with each other, and they communicate more and more with each other. Okay, Ivan thematized it. Okay, communication. What is that communication? What is the difference with talking to each other? Okay. To be concrete, people communicate with SMS today. it means very short, very to the point. Okay, but conversation is not that. It's not short and it's not to the point. That's how ideas come. Okay, that's how you feel well. When you communicate, you don't feel well. You are tense. Okay, so I would say that's the that creates this atmosphere of there are more and more problems and less solutions. There are as many problems as always, but yeah, we are forgetting how to solve them. Okay. If you instrumentalize the word, that is what the first commandment explains to you. Don't make an instrument out of me. Okay.
Out of the word, or
out of me, out of me. Okay, out of the absolute subject, which that is what our Christian tradition then explains to us. In human terms, that is the word. Okay, the logos. In the beginning was the logos. Sabo, in fact, always quoted that. That is somehow his starting point. The first sentence of the Gospel, John. Yeah. Okay, there's a beginning of the New Testament. Okay, the first sentence of Christianism, basically. And Tabor, his good friend, gave an analysis of the sentence, short analysis. The sentence runs like that. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, this is a contradiction. Okay. Was the Word with God or was he God? There's the whole point. There's the whole point. That's some people say John is a Gnostic gospel, which means mystic in the antique sense. They insist there are things which human reason cannot grasp, but they are real, they are true. That is why when human language tries to grasp them, it sounds like nonsense, but that's the nature of reality. Okay, and that sentence expresses it in a compact form. Okay, the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's true. There is a real. It sounds like nonsense, but that is the way reality is. Okay, it was a Word with God and God at the same time. Okay. That's reality, and it was in the beginning. We thought God was in the beginning. No, the Word was in the beginning. So if you you must have that present like a poem, okay, like a poem where it has to work in you. Okay, you don't have to cut it in pieces, dissecate it. Yes. Okay, with your very limited common sense. Yes. Okay, yes. You must perceive that you are limited, not reality is limited. You are limited. Okay, there's the beginning of it, which doesn't free you from perceiving reality. Okay, yes. Reality is still there for you to perceive. Okay? The Bible says we were created at the image of the Creator. That is the Word. That is what makes us similar to the Creator, because the Creator created the Word speaking. Okay, the Creator, as we know, in that poem, which is called the Bible, it begins with the sentence, He said, "Let be light," and there was light. Yeah. He said, "Let be light." He did not switch on a light. He said, okay, it was a word. He created with the word. That is what I perceived behind this idea of the vernacular of Ivan. He did not say it so explicitly because he didn't want to go to those depths, in public at least. He wanted to have a public resonance, okay, which he got.
Yeah.
My Sabo did not care about public resonance, so he went to those depths. And that book, that first book, is called Complaint Against Spirit. And there's the theme that the scientific era misuses the word, and we must come back to the living word, which is Ivan's vernacular.
Very much close to
Okay.
Ivan's
Vernacular gave a pretty name to that, vernacular. The language which people speak. Stop the terror of technicality, of professionalism. Okay, stop the terror of medicine, who intimidates you with words which you don't understand. Okay, which are meant to be impossible to understand to normal people. Okay, right? Penicillin and vitamin and virus and bacterium. Hydrogen atom. Stop that. Call things by the vernacular name, right? Anyway, that's why I've been insisting on that.
Yeah.
Because of my bias.
No, but it's fantastic.
Limiting scarcity. Yeah. That's what my Elizabeth was working on. Self-providing economy. What is the household? Household is self-providing economy, and that is the vernacular. Okay, it's in that sense that you mean the vernacular is the limiting of scarcity. And your example would be, for instance, self-providing farming. For instance, tomatoes on your balcony.
Tomatoes on your balcony.
Yeah. Is even a more community gardens. Okay. Which is the big runner, which has become a good runner, thanks to Ivan, to people like Ivan, like Elizabeth, who was in that sense a follower of Ivan. She was an executor of Ivan's ideas, and a very powerful executor. She was fantastic. We are missing her very much. I tell you, the youth must understand that they must continue this kind of things. They must continue that actively and proactively. Okay, in an offensive way. Nothing pacifism. You must be offensive because the enemy is brutal. Okay? Guerrilla. Okay, you must. The previous generation, just the previous, okay, the young from 20 years ago got the message and they developed guerrilla gardening. Okay, fantastic.
Guerrilla gardens, which is a fantastic
Great.
idea.
Exactly that. That's exactly the.
They open.
Yeah.
They break cement and recover soil.
Seed bombs. Great. Great seed bombs. Fantastic. It is exactly that. You need that kind of beautiful ideas. Okay, and you must produce them all the time. Okay, in a permanent way. A short question, indeed. He was somebody very familiar. I explained later to myself. He comes from the same world as I. Okay, the old ruins of the Austrian-Hungarian monarchy. Okay, of the Habsburg Empire after its collapse. I come from there too. Somehow he was an uncle, dear uncle. There was something very familiar. That humor, that special, very intelligent humor. Always intelligent. Okay, it is never cheap humor. I will ask me which is present, which is there. We came back from Bremen, I think. From where? And we drove him and Barbara to their hotel on Kantstraße. Okay, Elizabeth had a car in those times, so we drove them to the hotel, and Ivan said to us, the last words, said to me, "I find it great that you are with Elizabeth." Oh, that was his last word to me. I could cry with happiness. That's my uncle, my dear uncle, which are a dream. He saying what you do is right. His books are a little bit fake, okay, but in a very sympathetic way. Okay, they're a little bit, but it is nice. It's all right. He was cheating. He was cheating, but okay. But as a dear uncle, that's allowed to him. I admired his elegance. They want to make of him a serious thinker. For many people, that maybe mistrusted this familiarity, because he was with everybody familiar. I can imagine that people mistrusted that's a trickster or something. But I somehow I knew that. Okay, I loved that. So in a word, he was a lovely fellow.